I still don't get that intro, but thanks for listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast. Now, joined by the men that are synonymous with morning talk radio in the city. The great, the most successful man in the industry, Ollie Farhang. The hardest working man in the industry, Justin Spears. You can catch them live from 7 to 9 on what channel, guys? 2 different channels that you can find them. Where can you find them?
1490 AM, baby. 94.9 HD Channel 4.
Channel 4 on your HD dial, my friend.
On the HD dial.
All right.
And I would say the ESPN Tucson app, the streaming on that it's so crisp.
Way better.
Try that.
And on top of that, too, we also got you the Wildcaster that Justin's got as well, and also Heisman voter Justin Spears. I never looked at it, but did we decide that you are the only person under the age of 30 with a Heisman vote?
Oh, man, I don't know about that. There's a lot of Heisman voters out there, but I would probably guess I'm definitely in the top tiers to have a vote.
I would say that. So anyways, we're going to own that one. All right, guys, we got a lot of Arizona football to get to, some Arizona basketball as well. But let me ask you guys this. Justin covering the team, Ali covering the team from the ivory tower that is the Farhang and Metcalf establishment downtown. What has been the biggest surprise for you guys this year? Something that you expected that you just haven't seen? What has been that? I'm curious as to both your guys' takes.
Ali?
From my perspective, it's a very obvious answer. I thought the offensive efficiency would be a lot better. I thought we would see another year of growth with many of the players returning from last year and this offense going to another level. And I don't think it's unfair to say that it's been the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Justin?
Yeah, I would say offense, the biggest surprise has been pretty much this offense not having any identity. Like, what is this team really good at? And,
right.
The narrative going into the last game against Colorado was, hey, they're there. They're close. They just can't score the football. Let's figure out a way to get the ball in the end zone, and maybe Arizona's offense could finally turn a corner. And they took 5 ginormous steps back against Colorado. They had 6 straight punts. They finished with just as many punts as they had points. They couldn't even sniff the end zone. And the offense just didn't have any rhythm. Protection is terrible, right? We spoke with the coaching staff last week, and they emphasized, we got to protect Noah Fafita. We have to protect him. And they didn't do that against BYU, and they certainly didn't do that against Colorado. As a matter of fact, they gave up more sacks in that Colorado game than they had the entire season leading up to that.
Well, so, and that's the thing, too.
In terms of protecting Noah Fafita, they did not do that. So,
And that's the thing, too, is that Colorado going into this game was known as a team that could score a lot of points. They weren't necessarily known as being the most dynamic defense in the world, and they got after Noah, and they got after Noah early. The thing that I'm starting to worry a little bit about Noah is, and I'm a huge fan of Noah on this show, the family, everything, is you start worrying about the David Carr type thing where you're just getting hit so much that you start looking, you don't see players and whatnot. That worries me, guys, because, again, he is getting absolutely destroyed out there, and kudos to the kid. Every single game, every single presser, he's up there, I taking the blame, this and that. But it just feels, we'll start on the offensive line. Arizona returned 3 pretty quality starting offensive linemen. Jonas Savaiinaea is a first-round pick. Wendell Moy looked like he was going to be on the verge of the NFL. Josh Baker, and obviously Leif Magnuson going out, but the offensive line has just really struggled this year, and I just didn't see that being such a problem for this team to this point, Ali.
Mike, you nailed it. I mean, as far as like the things that kind of has surprised me, I thought this offensive line would be a lot better for the reasons that you just explained. And Again, I wish we would get all 22 film from Arizona so that we could actually review the film and not just the TV tape. But I hate saying last year, okay? But the offense last year, it seemed like the ball, it was more rhythm offense. The ball was out of, 1, 2, 3, throw the ball, guy open, read the defense, see where the mismatch is. Everything seems so much more elongated. The routes, and it's kind of like, okay, everybody go out, you run a post, you run a flag, you go deep, Noah go back there and just make a play. I just personally don't see the scheming to give Noah some easy throws, or not enough of them to have him. I mean, look, he is 5'9" with cleats that are 8 inches maybe, but Noah's a great quarterback. Maybe get him on the move, some more rollouts, and don't just put him there in the pocket and expect him to make a play. So whether it's scheme, whether it's quarterback plays, probably a combination of both. Poor offensive line play. There a lot of things go into stuff like this. Everything is such a grind for Arizona's offense right now.
And there's just no quickness. There's no, like you said, there's no tempo. Heck, even when Arizona's down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, they generally don't go hurry up. They generally kind of take their time. And those are the things that just kind of that have just baffled me from day one. And that there never seems to be a sense of urgency. There's never, there's, like I said, there's no quick outs. There's no getting other players involved. And every single game, we kind of hear the same thing that, I need to coach better. We need to do better. But at some point, it's like, why do we keep seeing the same thing week in and week out, Justin?
Yeah, and like you said, the sense of urgency. It seems like whenever these guys get out of a huddle, they line up very slowly.
Yes.
How the plays develop as soon as the snap hits, it's very slow. There's no snappiness to it. Everything just seems like it's just dragging out and is just so long and hard. And it doesn't have to be, because you have the players where you can get these quick 3 to 4, 5 yard plays, right? Like, how many times have we seen tight ends get out into the flat and have Noah just get the ball out of his hands quick? Now, there were a couple of times, I'm not going to, sit here and blame everything on Arizona's staff. There were some plays where Arizona tried to get the ball out quick, but Colorado just completely blew it up. So now you sit there and wonder, is this coaching staff too predictable? Is, how certain they line up are these defenses picking up what the offense is?
Right.
What is putting down? I think the word Justin was looking for is alacrity. There's a lack of alacrity.
Yes, there is.
And as a coach, Mike, there's like certain things that really drive you crazy. And guys coming out of a huddle all slow and not with any kind of urgency. It is like, it would drive me crazy as a coach. And I don't know. It just like the guys on the other team, they're watching film. They're looking at our keys too. And maybe Justin's right. Maybe there's a certain tells on our offense that the defenses are picking up with. I was shocked we weren't able to have more success offensively against that Colorado defense.
Well, that was the thing that was very concerning, because again, we made Colorado look like, or a fan, not a media member like Justin Spears. Justin did not say that. Mike Luke said that. Send your emails this way, not towards Justin Spears. But we kind of made them look like the greatest show. Or they destroyed Arizona, and I think a concern for me is this. And I go back to this. I had Tyler Owens on the show a couple times last year. T.O., great dude. And what amazed me about him, the first thing I asked him about is I said, what is your top priority as a strength and conditioning coach? And he says, I'm judged on 2 things: getting my players to where they need to be strength and conditioning wise, and trying to avoid injuries. And it was remarkable. I asked him like 5 or 6 different players. I said, what's Jonas Avanea's bench press right now? And he says, well, right now we're not going heavy, but right now he repped out 225, 37 or 37 times, whatever the case may be. And he said on the
Wow.
quick jump, yeah, it was wild. He knew everything to a T. I asked him then about Fam, Rayshon Speedy Luke, and he said right now he's at 174. We're hopeful that we can get him to 181. We had him, and he on the cone drill was doing X, Y, and Z. He just knew everything down to a T. But I thought it was interesting, though. He said, I'm going to be judged, though, by being able to get these players strong and being able to get them out on the field. And last year, I mean, say what you want, Arizona was a fairly big physical team that, didn't really take a back seat to anybody. You watch the team this year, and there's just so many injuries. There's just so many players that are going out with either season-ending injuries, you're having to stop the game. That was something we just didn't see last year, fellas.
Yeah, and honestly, I think there may be some truth to the strength and conditioning element. I also think that Arizona just lucked out last year when it comes to injuries, because I think the only significant injury that they had was the reason why they went on a 7-game winning streak. Jaden Lindor's ankle against Stanford, right? That was the only injury that they had. Oh, Raymond Polito was in and out of lineup, but I mean, that was such a weird thing, right? He had a bike accident, right? And then he got his ankle rolled up on. Like, that's just stuff that happens. But those are the only injuries that happened that were significant for Arizona last year. This year, the injuries piling up. I mean, I'm sure there might be some truth to what you're saying about the strength and conditioning factor, but Jacob Manu celebrating a third down stop and kicking a football, and that's how he tears his ACL. I honestly think it's just the curse that is Arizona football. You can't have two great back-to-back seasons. It's always got to be hard after the successful year. Arizona went 10-3 last year, and we've seen this happen in time where the following season, the Wildcats are a little disappointing. And I think all these injuries have led to disappointing 3-4 start. But I think some of it just has to do with Arizona just simply having bad luck.
Right.
Yeah, and Mike, you talk to the parents. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not behind the scenes, and I don't see how these guys are working out. I don't know if that has any contribution to the injuries. But I will say this, and Justin will attest, our first couple of games, from just an observation of a fan, we look out of shape. We look slower than the other team. I mean, Kansas State, think about back to that game, how much faster and more physical they were than us. And that goes to strength and conditioning and off-season work. So, again, I don't want to cast any aspersions on anybody, and I don't know, and neither do you guys, and neither does anybody else, unless you're looking from behind the scenes.
Behind the curtains.
Behind the curtains. But from what I could see, most of the games we've played, I think we've been out physical, we've looked slower, and we don't look like we're in the greatest condition.
One thing, I've had 7 parents tell me kind of the same exact thing. And again, they're not even really, and they all preface it by saying Brent Brennan's a good dude. And I think that is something that people need to understand. Brent Brennan's a good guy. He is. People need to understand that. When it comes to the strength and conditioning, it's been far more plyometrics based, not nearly as much heavy lifting. T.O. was all about heavy lifting. I don't know. Again, I'm not a football training guru. I know people look at me and they're like, man, Mike Luke, that's an NFL football trainer right there. But they are wrong. I am not. I mean, Justin Spears thinks that every day. He's always asking, why are you sitting in your guest room and not training the Chargers? But I am not doing that. But again, like I said, I find that interesting. That was also kind of a thing that Rich Rod was far more into, was, the plyometrics and whatnot. I just had a number of families tell me that. So, it is what it is.
Well, when you guys got to watch practice, I mean, I asked Justin, and I'm not putting you on the spot, Spears, but it's like, how much conditioning do we do at practice? Because first couple of games, I'm like, we don't look conditioned. Like, we look like we're out there, we're running plays, we're doing all the things, but we're not like running gassers.
Right.
And that's just what it seemed like to me. And I think it's borne out. I mean, the lack of physicality was completely out there the first part of the season. And you saw Colorado's defense with our offense. I mean, that's, I guess, you know what, you go back to your first question, Mike. What has surprised me the most, that except for maybe parts of that Utah game, we've pretty much been out physicaled in every game, even NAU's defense with our offense.
Well, that was the real concern for me was the NAU game, because the New Mexico game, it's the first game of the season. Dampier's good, whatever, all of that. But the NAU game, that was the one where I'm like, oh my gosh, are they as good as we are in the trenches? That to me was the real warning sign, because again, it's NAU at the end of the day.
And also, again, last year, it always gets brought up, right? You don't want to constantly compare to last year, but you have to in some ways. Like last year, the hallmark of Arizona football was their ability to finish games, right? When they looked dead in the water against Oklahoma in that Alamo Bowl, they had that key takeaway, Gunnar Maldonado going 87 yards for a fumble return, and Arizona just put it on them. Even when the Wildcats were up and you felt like Arizona was going to be on its way to a win, they were still getting after the quarterback. They were still playing physical. You never saw hands on hips. You never saw guys just completely gassed. And unfortunately for Arizona, that has not been really the case this year.
Okay, now there is one person that I want to give a big shout out here, because it is very well deserved. But first, Ollie, I got something to tell you.
I'm all ears.
Now, you might be like Ollie. Everything in life is going great. You know what? You got a great job. You get to see Justin Spears on a daily basis. You get to be able a lot of different things. You're arguing before the Ninth Circuit. You got a lovely girlfriend. You got everything. But Ollie, maybe he's missing one thing. Empire Flooring. I do not know that you have Empire Flooring beneath you right now, Ollie. Is this true?
You know, as Empire Flooring, it's true what they say. They always provide a great foundation for success.
Yep, exactly. And are you slapping me away and saying, guess what? I do have Empire Flooring, because that was a very good one if you do.
Yeah. As far as
Either way. Now, you could be like Ollie or not like Ollie and already have scheduled the free in-home estimate. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHNX for details. And game time. All right. Now, you might say to yourself, Justin Spears, that guy, he's got everything, man. He's covering the football team. He gets to hang out with Bruce Pascoe as well. Bruce Pascoe, who was not at the exhibition game because he was at Big 12 Media Day. We're going to get to Bruce here in a second. But you might not be able to have those kind of connections. Guess what? Game time. Game time. You might say to yourself, man, Justin Spears, that guy's going to Central Florida. I want to go get his autograph. Well, if you want to get a ticket, guess what? Game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, just like so many have. Use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. What time is it? Game time. Ooh, all right. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, you're going to hear it tomorrow at the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl luncheon. It's how I close every meeting. Is with what time is it?
It's like that, and that's a matter of fact, because I never hesitate to put it on their back. Man, I'm so good. I'm so good. All right. One guy I want to give some credit to, though. I very much like this dude, Duane Akina. He has dealt with a patchwork defense for so much of the season. He has dealt with injuries all up and down. A lot of players moving on from last year's roster. Watching him, he's got the energy of a 30-year-old, and he never makes excuses. He's always great in the pressers. He's had half of his defensive backs that are out for the season, and yet I love the guy. Listen, for as many complaints as I've had on the offense, I think he's just considering everything, I think he's done a very nice job on the defensive side of the football.
And that's the one thing about Arizona where, defense hasn't been perfect, right? They haven't batted 1,000 this season, but they have more excuses for issues than the offense. And the defense, like, you think about this, ever since, what was the narrative after the New Mexico game? They can't stop running quarterbacks. They can't stop the run. And I feel like they've gotten a little bit better in that department. Like, the defense, even with the injuries, they have gotten better. And you can look at the scoreboard and be like, well, absolutely not. They're giving up how many points to these teams? Well, yeah, if the football team, if the offense didn't turn over the ball and give BYU so many short fields, if they didn't give all the other teams opportunities to score with all these turnovers, the score would be a lot lower for the other team. So I give credit to Duane Akina. I think he is kind of being like a mastermind with the guys that he's putting out there, and he's working with what he's got. And right now, the secondary is so banged up. And another thing that was so critical about this season in terms of roster building was when Jed went to Washington, that class for 2024, they had all sorts of defensive backs from the high school level to the transfer portal. They were ready to have those guys in case Gunnar Maldonado and Traden Stukes went down, and then they all went to Washington. So right now, you're seeing the depth issues at defensive back, but considering what the defense has, job well done for Duane Akina and the D.
Hey, Ali, one thing that I have another good point here that I think you might co-sign on. It would be really, really good, interesting. It would be for the Arizona beat writer to have an article on Duane Akina, maybe a one-on-one type thing. I think people would like that. Just throwing that out there. What say you, Ollie?
Well, I'm going to actually hit on something that you've put out there recently, which is sports is supposed to be fun.
Yes.
And there's the X's and the O's, and the offense is not playing well, and Noah's not getting the ball out of his hands, and is the scheme wrong, and the offensive line, I get all that. But, there's a human element to all this, right? And, for example, Justin just wrote a beautiful article on Wally Conley and his mother, she's battling breast cancer right now, and their relationship. So those are the kind of stories like we want more of. We want to get to know our team more. We want them to allow access to the beat writer because this is about human beings, and we can complain and bitch about what's happening on the field as fans. That's our job. That's what we're going to do. And reporters, they're going to ask stupid questions, and they're going to make stupid points. We all get that. Because those reporters, they don't know what they're freaking talking about. That's why preseason polls are stupid. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't want to see my preseason Big 12 poll.
But, the human stories like a Duane Akina and a story on him. Yes. And how as much as we lament the offense and how they haven't even come close to meeting the hopeful expectations we had for them, the defense, I think, has exceeded it based on the circumstances. And if you play complementary football, and if our offense was just performing and on a little bit better level, you help the defense and special teams, and it all matters. So,
and I can't think
how the offense is playing and all the injuries. Frankly, I think the defense has been spectacular.
And that helps out the narrative. And honestly, there's no better person for this. Justin, we're just going to give you compliments here for a second. You're the hard news guy, so you don't have to say anything here. This is all about Justin Spears for a second. But there's nobody better to write these articles than Justin Spears. Seriously, the epitome of a professional, the dude that can give you kind of an insight to what's going on. All kinds of different things, whether that's a player that's going back to play against Utah, whether that's a Duane Akina story about dealing with all these injuries. That's what gets the community behind you. You feel that you got a little bit of a sense of a vested interest, and it's Justin Spears. He's literally the most pure-hearted person in the world. He's not going to be setting you up for terrible questions and whatnot. I mean, that's always, but use somebody like Spears because, again, if you want to get your story out there, that's a great person to utilize there. You're not going to do, it just kind of is what it is there, Ollie.
I mean, look, it's the highest revenue sport at the university. The fan engagement, you've heard me on the radio, the production of the game sucks. They don't make it an event. They can do, it's either laziness or incompetence. There's all kinds of college programs that are doing awesome things to make it a fun event to be at. I am done with people standing on the end zone and waving. That doesn't get me inspired. Play a song to start the game, have things during the game to make it an event. And if you want to promote, this is big business. You want to promote your business, use the resources around you to promote the business so you get engagement and people buy your product, which is also obviously the biggest thing is the product on the field, but it's also everything that goes around with it, the atmosphere on game days. So, Justin gets, he does the stories. He does the human interest stories. I mean, I'm his partner. I love him. I'm always team Justin. It seems like it's a grind to cover Arizona football, and I don't understand why that is. This cloak and dagger stuff needs to end. Sports is fun. Make it fun. Whether it's the in-game atmosphere of the game or covering the team or the fan engagement, make it fun, man. Because you know what? Stop taking yourself so seriously. You're not a teacher. You're not a doctor. You're not curing cancer. It's sports. Make it fun.
Also, I got a story for you. This will predate Justin Spears a little bit because Justin just turned 21. Little known fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say
Sure.
Justin. Yeah, I was going to say Justin. But I remember I had a conversation one time with Mike Stoops while I was an undergrad many, many moons ago. And Mike Stoops, for as crazy as he was, generally gave pretty good access to the team. It was kind of a community feel. Mike Stoops said something that I thought was very, very interesting. And I've always stuck with this. He said, listen, man, he said, and this was his first year. He goes, I know we're probably going to lose a lot of games this year, he says, but this is kind of easy for me because I want the people to know what we're working with here, what we're trying to do. And, when things go tough at the same time, I want them to be able to know that we're working on this. We're doing this behind the scenes. We're trying to get it started. And it was just the most simplistic thing ever. And keep in mind, this dude is a year removed from being at Oklahoma with his brother winning national championships. So I just thought you can make life a little bit easier for you as well by just being able to let people know what they're rooting for. Jed Fish did a really good job of that. He really did at the first year. You felt like you knew some of these players. You felt like you knew some of the coaches. I just don't understand the disconnect. That's where, and Ollie, you and I have been on this forever. Justin,
Yeah, and I'm going to let Justin go, but I'm just going to say you could not see more of a drastic difference than you did Saturday between Colorado and Arizona. Colorado players went to the stands and signed autographs. They had social media guys out there right after the game doing different things. They were doing video of the huddle and different sideline things, which I'm sure they were going to package and put as part of something that they were going to put out for everybody to watch. We, as fans, we want access. We want to know the players. And you know what? Somebody said it here, like, if you got a product to sell, then promote it and sell the product. And it's just confounding to me how tight-lipped and closed and insular the program is. And it just doesn't need to be that way. And just understand there's going to be stupid questions and stupid points made by people that don't know what they're talking about. And that's okay.
I do that all the time. Yeah. Oh, no, stop, Justin. Justin trying to minimize. Let me ask you this, Justin. As the beat reporter for the Arizona Wildcats, and I've always maintained this, I believe that is the most important job in the city. I really do. The beat reporter for the football team of a city over 1 million people. I believe Justin Spears has the most important job in the city. I have always said that. Let me ask you this. What is ideal from your perspective? And we're just talking in a vacuum here. What is ideal, though, for somebody like yourself to be able to get your stories out, to be able to get your, the human interest elements, the hard news? What is ideal for you from, just an access? And I'm just talking in general. What is ideal for you?
Well, I think, being able to go to practices, which I do, right? I'm there every single day for the available practices, which I think is nice. I was able to talk to Brent Brennan in the offseason one-on-one in his office. So I think that, they have a good job in terms of, allowing me to be the beat writer. But I do love these kind of stories, right? Where we can talk to Quali Conley and hear about the struggle of playing a college football season while his mom is going through her second battle with breast cancer. I love just the interesting stories that really tell Arizona football outside of the X's and O's. Like, one of my favorite stories that I've written about this year is the strong Polynesian influence on this year's team.
Yes, it was a great article.
Goes all the way back to the Dick Tomey days and has carried over across generations of Arizona football, but was lost in recent years. And then Jed Fish did a fantastic job of bringing that back to Tucson. And then Brent Brennan, of course, being a Dick Tomey disciple, he wants to extend that. But the Polynesian influence is very strong with this team, and it's a part of the fabric. That's why I'm confused as to why people are like, oh, Brent Brennan should take off the lei. Why is he wearing that? I'm like, dude, Tetero McMillan's grandmother and Noah Fafita's mother make him these necklaces. What is he going to say? No, I'm not going to wear it because all the Arizona football fans don't want me to wear it. In Polynesian culture, if you don't accept that, that is a sign of disrespect. And what do you think that's going to tell the Polynesian players currently playing for the team and also future players, right? Because when players come out on visits, they talk to the current players. And if the Polynesian players are saying, yeah, Brent Brennan, he doesn't really mess with our culture, do you think they want to come to Tucson, Arizona? So I wish people would get off Brent about the whole lay necklace thing. But
it's so stupid. It has nothing to do with anything, and it's completely irrelevant.
I've been very hard on this coaching staff, but one thing I will always stick up for is the lay. I do not care about the lay. If he wants to wear 30 lays, I do not care. Again, it's a gesture of goodwill. He would be silly not to take it. T-Mac's grandmother comes to you and says, "Here, please take this." Nah, I'm good. Yeah, that's a really, really good look right there. People would be more upset about that. Hey, you want to hear a story, though, Ollie, about Justin not accepting Mike Luke's friendship?
Yeah, I would love it.
Okay. I offered him up in the U of A press box. I offered him a mozzarella stick. Guess what? He didn't take it.
No?
Didn't take it. What are we supposed to say about that?
Oh, man.
I'm almost shocked. I mean, you offered him food and he didn't take it. Were you sick, Justin?
He didn't want it. I think it was more of an indictment on the mozzarella. It was more of an indictment on the mozzarella stick than I think it was. But Justin, this is true. You didn't take my sign of friendship.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. I love you. I appreciate it. I just don't know where that mozzarella stick has been.
Yeah, but hey, guess who ended up taking it though?
Sheer.
Anthony Gimino.
Oh man,
that fly-by night loser. What has that guy ever done in this city? Yeah, yes. But no, he took the mocker. Yeah, go ahead.
True professional.
But
yes.
But I was gonna say, Mike, going back to your question about like what is ideal for access. Listen, I'm going to talk about the X's and the O's. But I love to write the human interest stories and show fans what these guys are like outside of the field. And, one story that I've actually been interested in tackling that I haven't been able to do is Cash Peterman, the backup kicker for Arizona. Like, he's a backup kicker, and he's got like 500,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok, and he is an absolute sensation online, and he's racking up all these NIL deals. But he's the backup kicker. Yeah. That's what's so special about college sports is with NIL, heck, you cannot even see the field, and yet you're making NIL deals because you're so popular on social media. Check out Cash Peterman on socials. He's a fun follow.
Can I just add something to that? You're going to always get a Mike Tomlin from me, but he always talks about the other team being, gray jersey, gray face opponent. We're worried about us, not them. But you don't make your own team like that. And I'm not going to say last year, I'm going to say U of A basketball. And Pasco does a good job of this, and so does Tommy Lloyd and his staff. We get to know the players. And guess what? When Arizona's not playing good at McHale, what do we do at McHale? We stand up and we start clapping. We know the players. Don't make our own players robots and nameless gray-faced figures. If we get to know them, you're going to get even more fan support behind them. And I don't understand why there's not more access to this, so we can have more of these stories, so we can get to know these young men, because, I'm going to always love Noah Fafita. I'm always going to love T-Mac. We know exactly what they did to keep this team together. Jacob Manu. I can keep naming them. But there's guys like Cash Peterman I don't know anything about. I didn't know anything about Quali Conley, other than he was a transfer from San Jose State, until Justin put that beautiful article describing the beauty of the relationship he has with his mother. Don't make our own team.
And what I'm going to
nameless gray, faces.
And what I'm going to continue to say, and then I want to get because I know Justin might have to leave at any point, so I want to be able to preview the game real quick with the beat writer for the Star. But I will say this. It's Justin Spears. I keep going back to this. Sheer and I talk about this all the time. This is the most pure-hearted person in the world. He's not looking for an I gotcha moment. He is looking to be able to put that out there. He's looking to be able to give you a human interest story. Again, it's not going to be just a fluff piece, but at the same time, he's also looking to show the city who these players are. Wendell Moy, for example, had a great story. He was committed to Morgan State, and he committed to Morgan State, I believe, because his grandfather wanted him to be committed to a school or whatnot. His dad, excuse me. Yeah, his dad. That would be an amazing story to put out there. What was the process then with that? What was the process then with staying in Arizona? Things like that. Justin's the man for that. Justin is the perfect man for that. All right, we're going to get a preview here in just a second, but first... All right. Now, many people know that I have a good friendship with Jack Murphy. Jack Murray, you might say to yourself, Jack Murphy, that guy, what's he ever done? I can tell you for a fact that Jack Murphy has had a NUTRL in his life. He has drinking NUTRL, and you know what? When I got the picture of him saying back the A, he might have even, I don't know, maybe he had a NUTRL or not. But you might say, how could I be like Jack Murphy? Well, thanks for asking. Keep it tasty. Get a NUTRL like Jack Murphy. Enjoy responsibly at 2024 Anheuser-Busch NUTRL flavored vodka and carbonation, St. Louis, Missouri. You guys are both cool. Both of you guys showed up to this. I assume you've both had NUTRLs in your life. This is true.
True. Good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
And also, you might say to yourself one other thing. Justin Spears, that guy, really cool. Duh. Guess what? You know what would make Justin Spears even cooler? A branded Bills hat. Now, listen, Justin is like Bruce Pascoe. He is a hard news journalist. I am not a hard news journalist. Look at this. Branded Bills. Justin would probably never wear this, but I will say this.
With the rope?
With the rope, yes.
It's
with the
cool,
rope.
man. The branded Bills Arizona hats are fire. They're good.
Yes, they are absolutely fantastic. Check it out. Branded Bills. Like I said, you could be, Spears probably wouldn't wear one, but at the same time, I'm just saying Spears, you got to admit, oh, by the way, I got to tell you a funny story in a second. But either way, get brandedbills.com or branded bills. Hold on, let me go to the end of the read. I always mess this disclaimer up. This is great live, by the way. Head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. I have a parent that I'm in contact with a lot that very much likes Justin, and he likes Jason. And he messages me probably every month or so, and he always says, can you ask Jason Spears this question? And I never know if he wants me to ask Justin or Jason, so we just go with Jason Spears with that. It's very, very good. So
I don't know how those two guys get mixed up so much. I guess the names are kind of similar, but
Mick
Justin can tell you how many people are like, dude, that post you put out on X, man, you're totally wrong. And he's like, I'm not Jason Shearer.
Yeah, no. Hey, I got a question here. Is the Star going to have you cover the Arizona UCLA game just for old time's sake? Come on.
Oh, meet up with my good buddy Mick Cronin.
I mean, it's
my arch nemesis.
Yes, it's not the.
If you go to that game, I'm going to make you a shirt that says, I'm not Jason Shearer, that I want you to wear when you interview Mick Cronin.
That was so good. That was so good. Oh, my God.
Yes, Justin. You'll wear it, right?
Justin literally froze just because of that moment.
At least he got a smile. He doesn't look like an idiot.
Yep. Yeah. Yes, exactly. T-Burns826 says, I want a one-on-one with Cronin. Yes, absolutely. That would be very, very good. All right, now, Arizona, West Virginia this week, Ollie. It's a pick'em game. West Virginia is dealing with a lot of injuries. I'm just at the stage with Arizona. I don't even care who they're playing. I just want to see something that entertains me. Am I asking for too much?
I don't think so, man. I mean, it's you talk about a lot of games and the matchup, and you talk about strength on strength. I mean, this is injured on injured, right? Their offense is pretty beat up. Our defense is pretty beat up. Arizona's goal for the rest of the year is to get the good vibes back. So I don't know what that looks like, but we need, as fans, a sense of optimism and hope going into next season. We're not going to win the Big 12. We're not going to be in a college football playoff. Maybe we get into a bowl game. Ultimately, the task in front of this coaching staff is to get Arizona fans back on board that this program is going in the right direction.
Justin, what are you looking for in the West Virginia? Yeah, WVU. I am at this stage now where I just want to be entertained. I don't want to go to games where it's boring to watch. If we're going to lose, let's lose Rich Rod style. Let's lose 59 to 49, something like that. I want to be entertained. Am I asking for too much? And what are you looking for in this game?
Well, I think it's going to be the complete opposite of that 59 to 56 game that you're predicting. I think it's going to look like classic 13-7. Iowa versus whoever, fill in the blank here. Because I think with Arizona's defense and how banged up they are, along with the offense and all of their issues, I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game. And I think the plan is you got to be able to run the football. You got to use Wally Conley. You have to use, your other running backs. I know that they're banged up in that running back room, and they don't have Rayshon Speedy Luke available for the remainder of the season, but you have to figure out a way to get Conley a bunch of and to utilize jet sweeps, right? You have a bunch of receivers. guys, like Devin Hyatt, heck, even get T-Mac on a jet sweep. Just figure
guy,
out a way
T-Mac.
to my guy T-Mac. Just figure out a way to dominate time of possession, run the football, and also score touchdowns. Arizona, they were close going into that game against Colorado. They took several steps back. If they could figure out a way to, whenever they get inside that fringe territory, to figure out ways to score, then I think Arizona's going to be just fine. But I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Until I'm proven otherwise, this offense is broken. They've averaged, just under 17 points per game since the season. The offense has been gross. So going up against another team that's dealing with injuries, it's like almost WVU. It's weird saying that. And
WV, isn't it?
Arizona,
It feels weird.
They're the same team. If you put a mirror up against Arizona, they see West Virginia. They are dealing with injuries. They're both 3-4. They're trying to get back to 500. And I think at home, West Virginia having to come across the country, I think Arizona has to win this game. And if they don't win this game, with the space game coming up here against UCF, and then all the other games, like ASU looks significantly better than we thought, then I don't know. It's going to be tough for Arizona to get those wins and get to a bowl game.
Is it fair to say you're back in the A in this game? Or are you going to pick the A in this game, Justin? Will you go out on a limb?
Well, I always have to be Rupert the reporter, as Ali calls me. I got to maintain,
of course,
my. So I'm not back in the A, but I do think Arizona wins this game. I'm going to go with Arizona 21, West Virginia 13.
Ooh, you like the cover as well. I very much like that. Hey, before you, because I know you probably got to bounce to the presser, but real quick, I got a story for you with professional journalism involving Bruce Pascoe and Justin Spears. Well, it doesn't really involve Justin Spears. I asked Bruce Pascoe, I said, if Arizona wins the national championship this year, will you wear one of these Back the A t-shirts? And he looks at me with this kind of perplexed look, and he says, I don't care. I'm just reporting on the team, man. That's my job. It was the most Bruce answer ever. I was off. Didn't care if they won the national championship. Wouldn't take the shirt because he's there to do his job. Bruce Pascoe, our friend, the good Bruce Pascoe. We very much like that.
I love Bruce. Wait, Mike, going back to Mick Cronin, though, what were you guys talking about that I should do?
I'm going to buy you a shirt that says, I'm not Jason Shear, and I want you to wear it when you're interviewing him.
Would you do this?
Absolutely. I will totally wear it and interview Mick Cronin and stand there. And you know what's so crazy was working or covering college basketball, me being as short as I am, I'm always so used to guys being
yeah.
That's the other thing that can improve in Arizona Stadium is the Wi-Fi, right? Yeah.
For sure. All right, Justin, you were the man, dude, cutting out in and out a little bit. We very much appreciate you. And as always, Justin Spears, you need to be listening to him from 7 to 9 every single morning. Also, you need to be getting the Arizona Daily Star Wildcaster app. Also, hopefully, maybe some more in-depth stories this offseason. Wink, wink, wink at the people. But again, check it out. Justin, you are the man, dude. Very much appreciate you, boss.
Love you guys. Appreciate it, man.
See you,
all right,
buddy.
man. Talk to you soon. All right. Now, Ali, we're going to get into something that's a little bit more enjoyable now.
All right. Basketball. Let's do it.
Arizona basketball, baby. Let's go. I am excited. First, I love Tommy Lloyd. I hope Tommy Lloyd is here for 100 years. I said on the show yesterday, I hope Tommy Lloyd is here longer than I'm alive. I don't know if I believe that, but I don't know that I don't believe it either. Tommy Lloyd is a treasure. But you know what I like about Tommy Lloyd, though? Every offseason, there's something that's introspective about him where, he's not going to ever throw a player under the bus or anything, but he knows that I probably got to be able to upgrade here, upgrade here. I am excited to see what he's going to have with Jaden Bradley at the point. Justin will go player by player just from a defensive perspective because you saw that. Arizona's not had a defensive point guard like that here, and I think it's going to rub off on the entire team, Ali.
Yeah, I mean, from 1 through 10, our depth and talent, to me, right, look, every season is its own journey. You're writing your own story, and it's just paper right now. I think this is the most talented team, including year one, that Tommy Lloyd has had. And I think the newcomers and Toby Awaka and Trey Townsend are going to bring a lot of toughness and aggressiveness, girth to this team.
Girth, yes.
Right. And I think the one thing we know about Tommy Lloyd teams, and he's really good at it, is it's a culture of togetherness. They root for their teammates' success more than their own. So if he continues to cultivate that kind of environment like he has in the past, with this collection of players, man, the sky's the limit for this team. And it's the greatest, I'm going to keep saying this is the greatest home schedule in Arizona basketball history, with the quality of teams coming in. And teams are shaped by the adversity they face. And this conference is loaded. We're going to face a lot of adversity. And come March, we're not going to be 28-4.
Right.
Right.
Which is fine.
We are going to lose a game or two, maybe at McHale, but we are going to be more prepared and tougher to go on a nice run in March than we ever have in the Pac-12.
All right, now I will say this as well, Ollie. You might have to get to the games a little bit earlier because I'm not going to be getting pictures of you and your other cool friends at the Washington State game where you're basically the only people in the stadium. It's going to be a little bit different this, Ollie. Are you prepared to deal with the traveling issues that will come with Ollie going into hostile home environments?
I'm totally prepared. And not only that, I'm looking forward to it because I love it. I mean, I know we see the little clips here and there of like people fighting in the stands, which is completely stupid. I haven't been in an away stadium where people aren't nice and gracious for the most part. And as long as you're not acting like an obnoxious fool, nobody's going to be obnoxious with you.
Correct.
And the stadiums, I mean, if you could just judge it by football, anybody I know who's gone on a road game is like, everybody's been so welcoming and supportive. And I'm like, we need to make sure we're implementing that at Arizona. Like when we had Texas Tech here, I went out of my way to welcome them.
Yes.
Glad they're here. They're contributing to our economy. They're staying at our hotels. They're eating at our restaurants. Cheer your team. We'll cheer our team. Sports is supposed to be fun, going back to what I said before. So I can't wait to go to Iowa State and that beautiful setting.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is your travel schedule with the team? And don't act like you don't have it already looking at those games and saying which ones you're probably going to travel with. I know you, Ollie.
Well, there's one to be determined. I don't know it yet. But I think Iowa State is a definite possibility. I mean, that's one of the best.
That's lawyer talk. Come on, Ollie.
Basketball. Huh?
That's lawyer talk right there. Are you going to commit to this trip? Not a definite possibility. Are you going to commit to this trip?
I cannot confirm nor deny, man. I mean, I deny the allegations and I deny the alligator. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know yet. These things kind of come together pretty quick. So I will be on the road for at least a couple of games. I promise.
All right. Well, it must be nice. All right. Also, it's also going to be good for this team. One of the things that I like about, I think I don't want to say a blessing and a curse because it's a blessing, but Tommy Lloyd is a good dude. Overall, he's just a good guy. Anybody that, I mean, you know him obviously a lot better than I do or something, but everybody I've ever talked to said he's approachable. He's a good dude. He's a good dude to have a beer with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think he's also he's good to his players. I think what's going to be interesting with this is you're now going away from playing the Cals and the Stanfords and where, players can kind of just get away with anything because they just got more talent. I think the player accountability is going to be very interesting here because you're going to be going now into rowdy environments. And let's be honest here. If you've got a player that's head is somewhere else and forget Kansas or Baylor and they're going to play Texas Tech, Arizona could get boat raced. This is going to be something where everybody's going to have to be totally focused. I think that is a good thing, Ollie.
I agree, man. I mean, there can be no lapses with a 12 schedule. And the other thing that, thanks to guys like Tommy Lloyd and Jack Murphy and Coach Robinson and the rest of that staff, TJ, they've recruited to such a high level that, look, if you're not performing, if your head's not in it today, cool. You can sit right next to me on the bench because I got another guy because we have the depth that's going to get in there and do what we need. So Arizona basketball, I am buying all the stock I can right now, and I think it's going to be a fun season.
Considerable stock if Ollie's buying all the stock that he can. Much more stock than I am buying, even though I would buy as much as I could as well, just on a different plateau. All right, Ollie, speaking of stock, The Gila River Resort. Oh, sorry. That was my bad. The Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You strike me as a man that has been many places. By the way, everybody, get the wave in. Come on, get the wave. Get the wave in the comments. The Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Have you been to the Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Ollie? You strike me as being
I have.
Yes.
Fun place, yeah.
It is a fun place, a fun immersive experience as well at the Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Maybe you could see Ollie there. I don't know. I mean, it's a good stuff. All right, look at all these waves coming in hot and heavy. Let's get the wave going. Wave in the comments. Either way, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, that's such a better wave. I always get made fun of because my wave's like a trickle. That's a real wave.
That's the wave, man.
That is a wave of somebody that has an immense education. So again, this wave, kind of like a flipper, no good. All right. Either way, Gila River Resorts and Casinos and hold on. What is this one? I've never seen this one before. I don't know if I wrote this down right. What is the next one, Kev? I apologize.
Yeah, so the next ad is going to be for What Chaos. It's one of our hockey shows here at ALLCITY.
Oh, all right, cool. What Chaos? Let me look this up. I've never seen this before. Okay, I'm just going to read from the script, Ollie. This is great. Okay, now, let's see here. What Chaos? The All-City Hockey Podcast hosted by Pete Blackburn and DJ Bean. Mostly hockey with a little of nonsense. Interviews with players, coaches, notable personalities in the world of hockey, and appearance from All-City NHL hosts. Here's the deal. Also, make sure to check out their new collection live 4 times a week at 4 Eastern time on YouTube and wherever you listen to your local podcasts. Are you a hockey fan, Ollie?
I mean, I'm a Pittsburgh guy. I still like my Penguins. Watch here and there. I definitely watch more playoff hockey. But it's funny when you say ride the wave. There's one funny thing that my kids make fun of me about, which is I tell them if there's a tidal wave, I don't think you run away. You run towards it and you just bob over it. Constant source of disagreement with my kids. No, I'm totally wrong. I don't
know that I agree with you, Ollie.
Yeah, no. It's run as fast as you can and get it high ground. But I'm like, no. Run towards the wave, kids, and just bob over the top of it. It drives them nuts when I say that. So
hey, well, who's the best Penguins player ever? Is it Yager or is it Lemieux?
It's definitely not. It's Lemieux or Crosby over Yager.
Oh, it's not Yager. I thought Yager's not in there.
Yager was awesome, but you gotta go Lemieux because he saved the Penguins in Pittsburgh when they went into bankruptcy. He bought the team and kept them in Pittsburgh.
Right.
But as far as like being, we talk about engaging in the community, Sid Crosby has been like Mr. Pittsburgh. I mean, he's like right there with Willie Stargell and Mean Joe Green.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now, T-Burns826 says Mario, then Crosby, then Yager. Would you sign off on this, Ollie?
Somebody asked me my Mount Rushmore. I could only pick 4 of Pittsburgh sports. And I said, might as well ask me which one of my kids I like more because that's impossible. It's an impossible question. So if somebody's like, I take Mario over Crosby, I'm like, I get it.
Hey, you know what? You don't have to do this. I'm going to do this then. Pittsburgh Steelers Mount Rushmore. All right. The ones that are non-negotiable for me. You got Terry Bradshaw. You've got Joe Green. You've got
Franco.
Franco. And would you put Roethlisberger as the 4th?
I don't know. I mean, you got Polamalu. You got TJ Watt. You got Jack Lambert. You got Jack Ham. You got Mel Blount, who changed the rules of NFL football. It's impossible. So whatever
it isn't. That's not true. It's possible. I'm asking you your opinion.
I mean, I think that your list sounds okay. I put Mean Joe Green. Mean Joe Green to me is the only absolute. After that, it's all debatable.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Now, let's get back to a little Arizona basketball. Also, the other thing that I'm very excited about with this team, too, is I don't think there's any dead weight. There's no fat. There's always been and again, this happens in college basketball all the time, where there's been a couple players where they go out there and you're like, oh, let's just steal a couple minutes. Let's not. You look at this, and whether Tobe Awaka or Mount Crevis is starting, you've got 3 dudes that you know for a fact can play. In Awaka coming off the bench, if he comes off the bench, or Crevis, Carter Bryant, and Del Orso. Those are 3 guys that you're not just coming in to steal minutes, that they can push the lead out. That's not something that we've necessarily had in the past there, Ollie.
No, and Del Orso, I think, is really going to make a name for himself this year because he's such a good shooter and he can play defense. But if you were at the Red Blue game, right, Mike? I mean,
yep. Oh yeah,
the 5-on-5 with no more Mo Crevis, all those guys could play. all those guys can get playing time this year. So when I say we're 10 deep, we're 11 deep because Krivas wasn't in that game. Tommy Lloyd's going to have a lot of fun kind of figuring out different unique rotations and lineup combinations. This is a real fun team,
isn't it?
To coach and to watch. And like I said, there's a human aspect to sports. You don't know what guys are bringing onto the court or the field from their life. If a guy's not feeling it for whatever reason, something's going on in his life, that's okay. We got somebody else that can not only step in, but step in at a high level. And I mean, it's crazy. We got a 5-star guy in Carter Bryant, who's 18 years old, who's got the body of a 25-year-old man, who's extremely talented. He's been coming off the bench for most likely.
It's wild. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Let me ask you this: Are you buying the Henry Vasar stock?
Look, Henry's been in the program a couple of years. I think, when you come in at a young age, there's some maturity sometimes that's got to happen. I've seen the maturation in Henry, both on and off the court. I think Henry can really help this team this year. I mean, the kid is uber talented. Now it's just about the focus and the mental acuity and maturity to put in the work to really warrant those minutes. And from what I've seen, there's a different, I'm not there every day, but there's a different drive in Henry Vasar that hasn't been there maybe in years past.
And I always tell people this: Henry is doing very well off the court as well. Henry is Henry is winning in the game of life, and Henry gets that one. So that's gonna be enjoyable. All right, now we got to get. I really stink about asking. I asked for graphics, and then I always forget. Kevin Thomas, if we could roll up the football graphic real quick before here. All right, Ollie. This is that 10-3 last year. No, that's not what Arizona is this year. But forget about that one. All right, West Virginia 3-4 on the year, 28 points per game, giving up 28. Let me ask you this: who is winning this game, Ollie? Who do you got? What do you got?
I mean, I got Arizona in this game. I think
you're back in the A.
I'm back in the A. I think that Arizona's offense. I want to see tempo. I want to see a little bit of little jalapeno in the yin yang, some alacrity, some movement. And if we can get going and frankly make it fun, I want to see, here's my hot take, my one prediction, which I have no basis for whatsoever. T-Mac is going to throw a touchdown pass in this game.
Ooh, that sounds like a prop bet. That sounds like a prop bet. Oh, Ali, very, very interesting. T-Mac, touchdown T-Mac. Listen, he hasn't gotten the end zone in a while. Maybe he's throwing them at this point. That would be interesting.
A little reverse pass to Hunter or, Lamonius Craig. I just kind of feel it. I just feel like they've got to do something. We need a spark, man.
We do.
We need a spark on offense.
We need a spark, and we need some girth up front that pushes that spark. That's what we're going for.
Exactly.
All right, Ali, you are the man. Like I said, it's always a privilege to have you on the show. Like I told you before, and I very rarely tell people this, Ali is big time. Seriously, there's some people, I've been in radio a long time. Ali is the dude that doesn't need to do any show prep and just comes in and is naturally just very good. He's engaging. He knows what he's talking about. Ali, like I said, I know you're very successful, but don't forget the little people if you ever go up even further, because you're the man.
Oh, buddy, I appreciate it. I have so much fun with you. And Henry Vasar is not the only one that's winning off the court, because I met your girlfriend at the after party. So
yes, appreciate it.
I'm gonna check that box for Mike Luke. Good on you.
All right. You as well, my friend. Nux, virtual Nux, my friend. All right. On that note, though, for the great Ollie Farhang, Kevin Thomas behind the scene, all the comments, very much appreciate you all. You have been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.